Hello everyone. We have discussed the definition and classification of the resources in previous two videos. This is the third video on the same chapter, that is resource and development, and we will discuss today the next part of the classification of resources. Let's start with point wise, then it will be easier to you. The first point was definition. The next point was classification, what we have already discussed. Now the third point. Is resource a free gift of the nature? The fourth point, indiscriminate use and its effect. The fifth point, planning, resource planning due to uneven distribution. Sixth point, sustainable development, and seventh point, Agenda 21. So, we are starting with the third one. Is resource free gift of the nature? No. Resource is not free gift. We have to improve it. Everything is provided by nature, but until or unless we are making it more useful through the technology, it will not be considered as resource. There is a relationship between the natural thing, the technology, and the human being. The human being through technology reach the natural resources and make it more useful at an institution like factories. As I told you, when we are getting the piece of log from the forest, that is natural raw resource, we are making furniture, paper, and many more things, that cricket bat or anything, many more things out of it. So we are basically applying technology, and where it is done? At an institution, that is the factory or sawmill. Then only that piece of log is useful to the human being. So that is why resource is a resource with the help of human technology. Okay, so this is, the resources are not free gift, it is provided, but we have to mend it. Okay, now we are getting the raw material in nature and we are using it and exposing it without any limitation. Especially the economically developed countries, or if you consider a single country, within the country, a class of people who are businessmen, they are exploiting the natural resources more and more for their profit. Okay, without considering the damage. See, nature itself sometimes damaged it, but that is repairable with the time. But when human being intentionally damaging the nature for taking the resources, natural resources out of it, and we are not repairing it, that time the damage is so much it could not be repaired by 100 or 150 years. That is known as the exploitation of nature. By mining process, we are only taking out the minerals out of from the ground, underground. But if we are carelessly taking out all the natural resources this way year after year, ultimately we are damaging the nature. So it is happening. We see that because of the business purpose or because of the economical establishment, the powerful nations or the powerful section of the society, we are damaging the environment carelessly. This indiscriminate damage results into the global and economical changes, like imbalance in ecology, global warming, all this kind. There is no better result for indiscriminate damage on the environment. And what happens? If you consider the socio-economic conditions, we can see that the one section of the people who are having power and who are having money, they are exploiting more and more, and they are becoming richer to richest. The general, the lower strata of the society is not getting its benefit. So this is another bad effect of the natural exploitation. The society is basically dividing into have and have nots, that is rich and poor, and the nature is also exploited in an indiscriminate way. So nothing good is going on, and for that we need a proper planning so that we can use resources. The resources can be distributed in among all the strata of the society, and we should keep resources for our future generation. If we are using indiscriminately, a time will come when there will be no natural resources. Time has already come. The fund, what were the fund resources, the stock of the fund resources is almost finished. So we are thinking about, we are researching, we are doing more and more work on the flow resources, like the solar energy, like the wind energy, like the, what I could say, tidal power. That means which can be regenerated, which can be renewed, which can be regenerated or reproduced. Those kind of power we are using more and more nowadays. Why? Because what was the fund resources that is to be finished, going to be finished. That is why there is a necessity for a planning when we are using resources, and the planning should be sustainable. Sustainable means that we can use the resource in a planned manner, and we will preserve the resource for our future generation so that they can use the resource. Okay, that is known as sustainable development, this concept. So in the concept of sustainable development, there is 2 points. One thing, that the nature should not be harmed in indiscriminate way. There should be a limitation for the exploitation of nature. Secondly, for our development, for our generation's benefits, we will not finish all the resource. We will conserve it for our future generation, next to next generation. That is the sustainable development. And for this concept, and on this concept, there was a summit which is known as Earth Summit. Had happened in 1992, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. There all the heads, most probably over 100 countries, the heads were there, and they all discussed about the urgent problems of the nature, like ecological disbalance, the forest resource, the socio-economic conditions of the country, that means the poor section, the poverty of the country, and the global climatic change. And ultimately they reached to the declaration known as Agenda 21. That means by the 21st century, Agenda 21 means by the 21st century, that we should take some initiative, and that should start from the very lower level, from the local governments. As in political science, we have already learned that the administration run from the very local level, like in India, from panchayat to block office, block to zilla parishad to states, and state to nation. So these way there is a hierarchy. The Agenda 21's also on that the local government should draw their own agenda 21, that how to eradicate these problems, the pollution problem, the poverty problem, the how we can keep our forest resources, how we can use the resources in a sustainable way, that it should start from a very local government, and then it will go on according to the hierarchy and ultimately to the international level, because this is a serious threat to the human being, to all human society. So this was the agenda 21, which had happened in 1992 Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and more than 100 heads were present there. They discussed on all the urgent matter of environment like global warming, climatic change, forest resources, the poverty, the health issues. All the things were discussed, and they declared the agenda 21 as a result of this summit. Today, up to this, from my next video I will discuss the resource planning of India. Resource planning is very much important, as I told you. For indiscriminate use, we should not do indiscriminate damage on the environment. So the resource planning and how it is applicable in India, that I will discuss in my next video. Okay, thank you.